By pressing play, you've been transported to a dimension where there will be no apologies given for the abstract and asinine comments made here by the host and their guests. With that being said, thank you for listening and enjoy your experience.
We are Jushin Sorcerers.
We are cursed.
Are you ready?
For episode 48 of the most ridiculously random pop culture podcast in the 719.
Yo, where the captions at?
Yo, oh. Yo, where are the captions at? Yo, oh. Where are the captions at? Where are they at? Where are they? Yo, where are the captions at? Yatta! Welcome back, everybody. It's yours truly, the host of this show, Kels for Show, a.k.a. Finger Licking Good. Join with me always is my bro host.
You know who it is, Roscoe Tinkoya, a.k.a. Do we have a soul or do we have a heart?
Ooh, that shit got... When they drop that little shit, I'm like, damn, don't make me think.
Oh, I'm
Don't make me think. Don't make me think. Ugh. Don't make me think. Ugh. Yeah. Don't make a nigga think about that shit.
But yeah, y'all, for y'all that don't know, me and Kelsey actually have finally did it over the weekend.
Ew.
Not that type of dude.
We have to go to the Joe Budden podcast real quick with that little homie.
No homo.
Oh, your fan fictions came true. You got a Spanish edition now. Daniel's in the mix. Oh. Speaking of which, joining us always is our man behind the scene, Donatello with the machines, our editor in chief. That Joe Quesada type shit, but now I'm not gonna do that to you because Marvel was running better before and after. But anywho's, it's none other than Daniel with a D.
Rojas.
They call me Daniel because the D comes first.
Damn it!
Okay,
I do like that catchphrase.
If that's how you want to identify
The
yourself,
D comes first.
cool, fine, and dandy. Fine and dandy.
So y'all know, y'all been here long enough. Y'all know how the format. And guess what time it is? It's what's pop.
Yeah, what's poppin'? And this is the part of the show when we talk about some headlines that been going on in the world of pop culture and geekdom over the last time that you heard us.
And you know, it's only been a week.
Normally we start off with Ross, but I'm gonna segue into his segment real quick because
Yeah.
the artist formerly known as Little Bow Wow, who goes by Bow Wow now, government man named Shad Moss, my high school doppelganger, evil version. And I respect Bow because he does everything he was supposed to do. He rapped at a young age. He got money. He got out the game. But now he's officially retiring from music.
After his last album.
And his next album is going to be basically a whole album dedicated to all the girls that he dated or been in love with. And he's going to make a song about each one of them. I was low-key going to do the same thing. It's going to be called A through Z, and each letter of the alphabet is going to be about a girl that I had a relationship with. Not meaning I had 26 relationships, but it would be a name. Each song would be named after or inspired by a woman that I've encountered. This has been a concept
of his since 2004.
Yes, I'm literally telling the people right now that's what I've been planning on doing. But I never sat down and did it. But that was in my head the whole time. And now Shad, Bow Wow, Moss is doing it. I can't be mad at him. Because great minds think alike. Yeah. And after he said he's done with that, he's going to get involved with none other than the WWE. Yes, Little Bow Wow want to be a big-ass wrestler. And if he has no problem Bow Wowing, then he might have an issue with the big dog when he comes in that yard.
The funny thing is...
And go ahead and talk about that wrestling shit, right?
It's just going to be hilarious because we know this nigga don't be working out like that. Also, on a fun fact, we know this nigga got a whole grown-up hip-hop. And I know in this current season, ain't watched it yet, but I have heard he got another bitch pregnant. Didn't mean to call him bitches. Well, not to say it like that.
No, it happens.
But yeah, he's still dealing with his rape case. Or his abuse case. When he abused...
No, quote-unquote, allegedly.
Oh, they got the footage.
When he got beat up and she got beat up and all that.
He got the Solange elevator footage clearly shows this nigga was attacking her, and she defended herself.
They said a hit dog will bow wow.
Yeah, but in other news, on my birthday, one of the greatest gifts ever. Fun fact: Tommy Dreamer's birthday is also February 13th. So, Impact had a pay-per-view on February 13th where Tommy Dreamer got to fight Rich Swann for the Impact Championship belt, where he dislocated a finger, but yet didn't win the match. Then ended up getting beat up by Moose because Moose beat up both him and Rich Swann and held both the Impact and TNA World Championship title
at the
over his
same
head.
damn time.
Man, I can't wait for Moose to beat Rich Swann and unify these belts. But yet also Private Party should have won, but lost due to the smartness of the Good Brothers in this triple.
Did you just say Private Party?
Yes, AEW's Private Party.
Is it a party that involves their privates?
No, niggas. They're the two Brooklyn High Flyers that basically I told you about that, like the Hardy Boys, but trained from Red Sun, who also trained Sasha Banks.
Word, because I didn't know if it was like a low-key Val Venus homage.
No,
so they might be trying to come in and be like, hello, ladies.
Technically, Private Party's been the gimmick before Street Profits. So low-key, if you know the indie wrestling game like that, Street Profits, depending on how you want to say it, could have took from Private Party swag. With the solo cups, even though they don't do solo cups, they range from a place you have to be invited, and they weigh an ounce. I forgot how much, but they say they weight, but only in vodka and orange juice.
Word, shit, damn.
Yeah.
And segueing from that,
but no, before segueing from that, WWE on Valentine's Day had a NXT takeover event called Vengeance Day, where all the titles were defended and retained by all the proper people, but yet also Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez were the first females to win the very first ever the tag team Dusty Cup Classics. So they now have a title shot for the women's title belt, as well as MSK. For those that watch Impact, they reformed their tag team. There are two of the three members from the group, the Rascals. They won the Dusty Classic and will be having a title shot for the NXT tag team titles later on as well. And Adam Cole has turned on Undisputed Era. So we'll have to wait to find that out.
Word. And, yeah.
Now let's guess what all else
Ain't
happened.
in the segue now. Let's go in the segment.
In the segue, and let's.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this shit moving.
Yeah, let's hit that. So what happened new on music? Play what?
We're not to music because there's other things to talk about.
We gonna talk about that Josh Whedon effect?
Nah, we're not gonna talk about that because we ain't gossipers. Like, I'm just here to hit news.
You guys are a little.
I stand with Ray Fisher now.
It is what it is.
After everyone on Buffy.
Hell yeah.
But anyway, that's that should have been taken care of a long time ago.
But
that's for another podcast.
I'm sorry.
We're not SJWs here. We're just people.
But I'm just saying.
And speaking of which, Gina Carano.
Gone. How you lose?
Fired.
How you lose this Disney money?
That's what I'm about to tell the people. If you haven't heard, she was let go of The Mandalorian. And for... See, this is the thing, too. There's a lot of shit that went on with this, but at the same time... there's a lot of double standards. Because when I first heard about this, like, oh, damn, I knew she was being problematic. That shit's not cool. But then when I got a little further into it, I was like, okay, there were other people doing some of the same shit, and there was no reprimand for that shit. But long story short, the final nail in the coffin was she put up a tweet, an Instagram post comparing her political views and Nazi Germany Jewish shit. And most people know, like, even though that may be the way you feel, You gotta tread lightly on that Jewish shit.
You can't talk about the Holocaust.
You gotta tread lightly, even though it might be factually correct. You gotta tread lightly. But also with Disney, they've been trying to phase her out too. But at the same time, how you gonna try to phase that girl out? But when you was about to give her whole own spin-off series, what was it? I think the Rebels Republic.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to give her a spin-off.
No, that was hers.
But I think when during this pandemic and the whole like
No. She been saying like some of that shit the whole time. So they was already looking for a reason to get rid of her. But I'm like, if you already were thinking she might do something again to warrant that. Why even start? Yeah, you should have.
Because y'all let Josh Whedon go real quick.
Wait. Whedon wasn't an issue. The thing with
I know Whedon wasn't an issue,
but the thing about that, Joe. The thing about that, like, that's the thing too with this council culture and all this shit too. You have to have the same line. That's why you can't get people wriggling on point fingers like, well, they said this, so why she getting fired for that? If everything was the same, fine. Like you could easily be like, yo, Jenna. You need to walk that back. I'm not telling you to apologize, but walk that back, explain yourself, this and that third. Because we can disagree with some shit, but when you come out here like that, and the thing with Disney, they did that shit before the investors meeting. Like, if you already had that idea, we have this whole show, now you got to go back and retweak that shit. You shouldn't even make that show a thing if you already knew she could be a loose cannon, quote unquote.
Yeah, and that's I think also too because like one of the things why they like kind of was iffy about it because I did not know like when she started talking about the BMM and all that, and then old dude was like had to talk the pronouns.
Yeah, and I heard about the pronouns too, but then
old dude came in and talked to her and she backed that up. I think that's when Disney gave her the That's when that whole shit kind of went on the iffy.
Yeah, and the same thing too. Like I read about that before, but then when I was listening more about the actual context, it was like, somebody talked to her and she explained like that beat whoop was not to the haters because she did say do whatever you want to do. I'm all for that, but I don't like people coming at me making me feel away when that's not my intention. I'm cool with that. You can do the same thing with this, but. It's just nasty at the end of the day. Yeah, I don't think she's a bad person. We all have our views.
She just has silly views and probably felt. I think she's probably just like that Ashley Vanderbilt chick. She ended up opening up TikTok, found some shit that she liked, and then the algorithm, due to the fact she watched it, started putting her down that rabbit hole. And she ain't seen the light since then.
Exactly. And it's going to be interesting to see how this carries over because Cara Dune, her character that she played, was the second most, or popular third. Cara Dune after, Verdito, a.k.a. Grogu, and the Mandalorian. She was the third most popular. That's why she was getting her own spinoff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just some views.
Long story short, we all have the freedom to say what we want to say, and also people have the freedom to critique us and criticize us for what we say.
You have the freedom to say what you want to say, but you also, with that freedom comes the consequences that could come behind it.
Exactly. And moving from that, the Snyder Cut dropped their final trailer, and we got a couple different reveals. We have Granny Goodness, if you look closely, she's in there, and Jared Leto's Joker has a scene in it, which is going to be dope, hopefully. And hopefully there's more content of that being set up throughout the whole 4-hour movie, which I'm low-key pissed about because it's supposed to be a 4-part, 1-hour series. But now they say, we're going to give you the whole 4-hour movie. Like, I don't want to sit through anything for 4 hours.
I kind of don't want to sit through it, but the fact of the matter is now that I found out that, like, the nightmare dream sequence is not going to be a dream sequence, but actually going to be a time skip.
No, that's what, because that's one thing too. It was a dream sequence to Batman because he haven't lived it yet, but the Flash comes back because it was a reality. It's basically long-term DC deja vu.
So this is just about how long it is, but I was talking with my friend Ellie today. We went to Taco Star and got a medium drink, which looked like a fucking monster. And it's the same thing with, movie theaters. Like, hey, here's the biggest drink we fucking have. It's basically a tub. You're going to have to pee halfway through the movie. And movies should have intermissions if they're going to be anything longer than 2.5 hours.
And the great thing about this is it's at home. So, yes, it's going to be 4 hours. Hit that pause button whenever you feel like it.
That's gonna be the real challenge, sitting through that shit from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. Not because you feel a way about Snyder or Justice League, it's just because it's 4 hours. Fucking hours.
I'm gonna be honest.
Of an Elseworld tale.
I'm so hyped. Like, I ain't even gonna front. That Whedon cut was booty. It was decent, but I'm just like, Warner Brothers really want to have a Marvel-esque movie about a comic book franchise that's really dark and gritty.
No, that's where you're mistaken. The Justice League's never been dark and gritty. They've been the hope of the DC universe. They've been Superman-esque overall. Only person that was dark and gritty was fucking Batman and Aquaman when he had the hook hand. Other than that, they're all about truth, justice, and hope. Not the American way, but they was there that you could tell your kids, look up, son. Look up, daughter. Like, that's the Justice League. That's your Wonder Woman. You could be like her.
I don't know, but for some reason, it's just the aesthetics of their movies always felt dark and gritty for me, and that's the one thing why I had liked the DC movies.
If you're talking about overall, Batman was the first. Batman was dark and gritty. Superman was never that. And but the Snyder cut is all. Snyder is a dark person himself.
Yeah, and for some reason I just like the dark. I just like the dark color tones that Snyder.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But you still gotta have like a dark, serious tone with a film, but still have your characters be
light and gritty. Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see that. I'm still gonna watch it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts,
But also, I'm a biased person. I am a Snyder fan anyway.
What hours?
I can't wait.
Word. All right, so moving on from that, we're going to talk about YWDCA 14. That's the playlist for the month of February. If y'all aren't already listening to that shit, make sure you go to Spotify and start checking that shit out. And, of course, listen to our other podcasts we've been doing every month since our inception as a podcast. And I'm just about to rattle out a couple of songs that you can hear on there. One being Low Key by Doughboy and Lil Uzi Vert. Another one being Rolls Royce Umbrella Ella A by artists by the name of Clever and Chris Brown. Brain. Think about that one by the boy Trey Songz. Yeah, so you gonna imagine what Trigger on there talking about. It's a dope song. You know, Valentine's Day just passed, but you know, you want to get a little sexy with a lady. You never go wrong with some Trey Songz. He'll get you where you need to be. What It Feels Like, Nipsey Hussle featuring Jay-Z off the Judas and the Black Messiah soundtrack. Not Complex. Messiah Complex is the X-Men theme. My brain is always on X, but that shit goes hard. R.I.P. to Nipsey always. If you haven't checked out that movie, make sure you check that out. It's American history. And we should always be cognitive of where we've been, because that's going to shape where we're going. And That Go featuring Young Thug and the boy Meek Mills. Off That Yak by Young M.A. She's back with another one. Anytime Young M.A. give you a Lucy, just some random freestyle type shit, that shit always go hard. Ross, do you want to throw in some real quick?
Yes, I have At My Worst from Pink Sweat's new album Pink Planet featuring Kalani. Clyde's new album Super Monster. One of my songs from off of there is Soft Spot. Rebecca Black is back at it, y'all, with the Friday remix featuring Big Freedia, 303, and Dorian Electra. I'm not gonna lie, it bumps.
Do you say super drunk or super?
Super soft. I mean, Soft Spot.
No, the name of the person.
Album. Oh. No, the album's Super Monster. The person's Clyde.
Clyde?
Yeah, it's a chick. Her name's Clyde. Yeah. Calling My Phone from Lil TJ featuring Black with the 6 on there. Y'all know, if y'all know, y'all hip hop heads know who I'm talking about when I say Black. Flames by Mod Sun featuring Avril Lavigne from off of their new album, The Internet Killed Rockstar. And PJ Hardwig got Noah Cyrus on a song called Dear November. These were my slaps from this week. They all hit. Those are the ones that, but yeah, those are all my hits from this week for YWDCA 14.
And also, STFU by Alana Castillo.
Ooh, that one that she just played for us.
Yeah. Know Each Other by Friend Within. Tatted Heart by 303. It's not as punk poppy. It actually feel like some old Motown Sam Cooke type vibe to it. Very acoustic with it. And speaking of Sam Cooke, another black legend, Rowdy Rebel and Nav dropped a track called Jesse Owens. It slaps. I'm glad Rowdy Rebel's home. Can't wait for Schmurder to get out because they about to kill the streets with all their bars they're going to be dropping on us.
Have you heard that rumor that when Schmurder gets out, his hat's going to return to him?
I know, like a long-awaited boomerang. Hit Easy by Eric Bellinger and Hitmaker. A Little More by that boy G-Eazy. He got another track in him. He always got a bop. He got 2 bops in this month. And Karol G, one of my favorite Latina artists, dropped another song called Location. And it's good. So yeah, if you want to hear new music, you know where to find it at. As YWDCA 14. And with that being said, we're going to move on to Yo, We Geeking Out. And today, we're going to be geeking out about one of the hottest animes in the street. This was like number 1 on most people's anime list of last year. And that's the one, the only, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, we like we said earlier, we binged this over the weekend, but we're gonna talk about the first 13 episodes because that's the only amount of episodes that the Crunchyroll version of HBO Max gives us, which are subbed and dubbed if you want to choose. Actually, no, I think it's only dubbed.
It's only dubbed because I had no choice.
Yeah,
that's the main reason why I binged it out. I was like, oh shit, they got this shit dubbed. Now I can read comic books and watch this shit at the same time. I don't have to pay too much attention to the actual subtitles.
Until you actually get into a little bit more of the story and they start talking about it.
No, the story's pretty.
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't paying much attention till I got to like episode 5 when they started actually getting more detailed into the juicing culture and whatnot.
Yeah, I could walk back that statement too because anime stories are normally very simple, but then there's a lot that goes back on top of it. There's all these little caveats and rules to the whole shit. Because the show is basically about Yuji, who eats a finger from one of the most, vile or the... He's not even like technically the strongest, but he's like one of the first.
It's the most powerful curse that once was a human that transformed into, due to his power and whatnot, a 4-armed curse being. Thusly,
that explains why he got all those fucking fingers.
That's why you have to catch the 20 fingers instead of it just being 10 hands, 10 toes. That's why they make the jokes like, no, he has 4 arms. I'm like, oh, because if you could count 4 arms, that's 20 fingers.
Exactly. And Yuji eats one of these cursed fingers that gains the cursed abilities on top of his own abilities, which from Jump Street had me like, hold on. Because did you notice that shit too? Because he was...
He's not...
Hold on. Because unbeknownst to us and him, he's just a normal human.
Yeah,
but he came through that window like he was fucking Batman with no grappling line, bust through the window and had mad agility and strength.
But yet also, as stated... The episode after, he also says, well, not even the episode after, I think like 2 episodes after, he states that he's naturally gifted with abilities and able to fight. So
see, that's the same thing.
I just write that up to that.
No, I'm saying, like, we don't know that until 2 episodes later. All we know is he a normal-ass human. He come out nowhere with super strength, agility, quickness. But of course...
But if you're one of them anime nerds, you know the trope.
But yeah, but at the same
raised
time,
by his grandpa, and that was like his real only friend. So
yeah, but at the same time, like, yo, bro, you just came out nowhere with these hands and this credible timing. But even they say he wasn't taken back or he wasn't frightened by the aspect of actually seeing ghosts and shit like that. Even though he's never seen them shits before, he just accepted that shit naturally out of part of life. Yeah, because we know, like you said, being anime fans, we're gonna come to find out that he was already predetermined or predestined to be a carrier of XYZ traits. Yeah, because I can't wait. Because somehow his grandpa got to factor into this shit too.
Either his grandpa factors into it, or his grandpa just was a good enough person that he cared about that he modelized his life after his death in honor.
Hell yeah, because like with most anime, when it comes to things like this, being in another shonen anime is like there's gonna be a whole school. He's going to be like a student. He has to have the teachers. You know, have their friends. There's a ranking system and all this. And I do like how he's not intentionally trying to be that because he's not aware of any of this shit. But now he's thrust into this world, and now he has a responsibility upon himself not only to protect people, but to make sure he can house this cursed demon that's what's inside.
But technically, it does push it to it because there is an episode that kind of evades to it because of the pure fact of him actually losing to a curse and then realizing he needs to get stronger. So that gives him that edge even more because, like, yeah, he always was going to be like, yeah, I want to get strong because this teacher's hella strong, da-da-da. But, like, oh, no, I've died and came back to life. I need to get stronger because I've experienced something way more stronger than me, and I need to be stronger to protect the people that I care about.
Yes. And,
which is, to be honest, like, two people that we meet later on. Well, we had met one before throughout the show, but we meet the other first year student that he was around when he died with. So, like, those two are like the two people he cared about the most at this current time moment.
Yeah, that would be one of them would be Mugami.
And I forgot.
And the second one is Nobara.
Nobara. Yeah.
And Mugami strikes me as like I thought he was gonna be like the not Kakashi, like the Sasuke type. But no, he's actually more social. But he is already set up to be like the number 2 in a sense. And there's not that initial rivalry like normally you have with shonen protagonist and the second character is normally that B. But right now he's like, nah, I just felt like I needed to help you, and I was in a situation, and I just felt like I needed to be here instead of just focusing on the demon because you had a good heart. I met you off Jump Street, and then Nobara is the female of the squad, and she's all about, yo, I'm already doing my thing. You boys are stupid. I'm gonna show you why I'm this shit. And I like that because she's not resilient over the dude. She enjoying because of no love. She's like, no, I need to come here and do my thing. I'm
and
like,
not only is she
gonna
just,
be dope.
And not only is she just like that, she's also a countryside girl that only wants to see how the city life is like as well on top of that. So it adds even an extra funny matter because, like, when it gets into her inner monologue, you see how she sees other people and how she reacts to them. Like, but yeah, those are our first years of Jushin Kaijin Tech School, where they're learning how to fight curses and
exercising
them. And the one thing that I do like the most is it's like they meet, they have a little session, our main character dies, Ree comes back, but the thing is, instead of him just being reunited with the group, it straight off just cuts him away from the group. We find out that the group is still thinking that he's dead, unbeknownst to, like, the few people that know he's alive. They think he's dead. They now are being told that they're, for the first time, being put into a school tournament against their sister school, and the only reason why they're put in there is because the third year students got expelled, so they have to learn from the second year students, which are May, Panda, and I forgot the third person, but what makes things great about
Zenny's the chick, the one dude that only speaks in rice ingredients and foods, and then Panda.
May's Zenny's sister, twin sister.
No, Zenny is the one with the glasses.
Yeah, but her twin sister's Mayden.
All right, because I just don't remember Mayden, but
yeah, May's the twin sister that looks just like her that had the guns that shot the first year student when old dude that came in and fought
Word. And one of the things too I love about the show, they get hella meta, because like you got a whole thing with like the second year students get introduced. And then it's just like, yeah, and Panda. Then Nobara's just like, are we not going to talk about Panda? Like this whole big-ass talking panda bear? I'm like, yeah, are we going to talk about? Nope. Gloss right over like, so we doing this? All right.
They gloss over that and also gloss over the fact that this dude only speaks in rice ball ingredients.
Well, they mentioned they tell us
but
that.
The thing is, literally, everybody besides the first year students could tell what the hell he's saying, and most of the time it's just all in him saying Boko Flakes.
Yeah, and the thing too,
or tuna.
It's kind of similar to that one cursed demon that nobody knows. He speaks, well, if you watch it with subs and say backwards talk, he speaks backwards, but then another one of the curses like, I hate that we don't know what you're saying, but we know what you're saying in our brain. I was like, yo.
And then what's maybe more hilarious is even when he's backwards talking, there was that one person that's like, yeah, that's beautifully said. And you're just like, wait, what? All right.
Yo. But then, all right, so what do you think Panda is? Is it a bear that got cursed, or is it a man that got cursed into a panda bear?
Ooh.
Just off the top.
I think it might be a panda that learned how to do cursives.
Word.
Because the pure fact of the matter is, as we come to find out, the ability of using juicing and curses is all about emotions, and every soul and or heart can do that.
And I like how they broke down versus the ability to use curse energy versus a curse technique.
Yes.
And one is just like boom, throwing power, and another one's more finesse. Yes.
And I like how they broke it down with like with electronics. It's like there's one where you could just put a
current into something
and make it work, or it's just something where it's just explosive power all at once, and that made it even more easier.
And yeah, like, I like how they just broke that shit down. I was like, all right, cool, simplify shit for me. Now I get it. It's kind of like similar. It was an Uncanny X-Men circa 2008, and I believe it was Emma Frost trying to teach Psylocke how to use her telekinesis. Because Psylocke's like, girl, I could punch a hole through a mountain. But we need to refine that. Pick up this nickel. We need to get you precise with that ability. Yeah, you could punch it, but I need precision. And she couldn't pick up the nickel. So it doesn't matter how powerful you are, but if you need to shoot a photon missile the size of a swamp rat in the middle of the Death Star, we don't need all that extra shit. We just need you to get that shit right in the hole. I'm not a Star Wars guy, so that reference is where it is, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's a womp rat. Womp rat, that's what I thought, womp rat. Yes.
And also the one thing that I do like too is the fact of how you use it. It's based on hatred, your emotions that actually are more true to what is being, instead of like being a kind-hearted person. It's more the hate, the anger, and all of that. And it's not that just you're using hate and anger all at a dispersed time. It's also intertwining in fact of you knowing that you're using your hate and anger in a calm state, which allows you to use your powers, or should I say your curse, for a longer period of time.
Word.
Because they explain like just using all your anger all at once, you're gonna burn out. But you gotta learn how to calm it.
Yeah. And
use it periodically.
Till you build up that reservoir. And what I also like about it too is meta and it's current. Because there's a scene where Yuji, the main protagonist, was like, why you gonna call out your attacks? That's stupid. Like, nah, you need to call out your attacks so you can focus your attacks. So he's trying to use his fucking curse energy. He's like, all right, Kamehameha, Razigun. Like he say all
he says
soul shotgun. Just
he
like
says Bon. And what makes it even more hilarious?
I think he said Bankai too.
No, yeah, because when the Kakashi of the show,
my boy Goju,
when Goju explains everything to him, he gets hype and excited. He's like, "Oh, so I can use Razigun, Baku, Kaju." This he just starts naming off all the big name moves, and dude's just like.
He was like Kamehameha. He was trying to write all this shit.
Yeah, he just is naming off all the shows and trap moves.
Yeah, Digimon.
And no dude's just still explaining everything to him while you just hearing him naming all off, and just like, yeah, that's something any anime head person would do.
For real, and I like that too. Oh, speaking of that, this intro got so much drip. Like, why didn't nobody tell me this intro and outro got all the hip hop swag? Like this nigga Millie walking in an outro to come in with all the hip hop and skip scops.
I'm surpassing just.
They hit with the folk at the end too. You ain't started listening to that soundtrack yet, right?
I ain't started listening to that soundtrack yet because I'm be honest, this episode outside of yesterday when we watched the first 2 episodes and watched the trailer through. Episode 13 is my first time really just listening to the whole intro all the way through. Like the one thing I will give HBO Max props is they force you to watch everything. They won't. They don't. They didn't give you. No. On the Xfinity version on HBO Max, it doesn't give you the skip. It doesn't have autoplay. You have
terrestrial shit.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it doesn't do autoplay.
You got too many Apple products to be fucking with terrestrial shit.
No, I'm on that cable box, baby.
I know terrestrial.
It's sitting right in front of me.
Watching behind your ears, Ross.
Bro, he don't know about that.
I watch behind my ears. I just.
But speaking of Goju, as soon as I saw him, this the Kakashi of the show, but with way more swag. Boy, when he showed us those blue eyes white dragons.
When you actually see him show the blue eyes.
I was like, oh! He took him to the void, and because I play a game called Munchkin, it's like a dungeon. So when you're in that dungeon, the void, there's a nothing, because you don't like this thing, they want to touch, but they didn't want to touch. You see all that potential space.
He causes inversion.
Woo! And then the monster that's trying to kill him, like, show me. They touch hands, like, oh, you want to learn? Well, I'll kill your ass.
Literally, he's like, why? He's not lying to me. I should see it. So he goes to touch him. He's like, why can't I touch him? He's like, you wanna know why?
I control that.
I control that little space right there. I slowed it down. So the closer you try to touch me, the slower you get, and it just starts beating up all on.
And then you go into a whole void of like time, space, just stop. Yeah, all this wild.
They explain this. Shit. Yeah, he explains what it's called a dimensional trap or something like that.
It's like the void and shit, like. Because certain people have those shits in the series.
Yeah, they can summon them, but the thing is, you come to find out, it's like, yeah, you're summoned into like a trap section. Yeah, the 3 ways of getting out is either knocking out the user that created a trap, punching your way out the trap, or creating a trap yourself and your trap being stronger than the other character. And that's when we find out that Gaiju has what is called the infinite void, which is one of the most strongest traps out there.
Yeah, them hands clap.
And it was just one of those things. Just like, oh, we got a strong character, but yet he's not just also strong. He wants to change the school up, but instead of him just saying, oh, I'll just kill all the directors that run the school, he's like, no, if I kill them, to replace them. The best way of me doing is being this teacher, train these kids, and let them see that the director's way is wrong, and then I could get them to join my vision, and we could just change this whole school up, which is just as hilarious because on the opposite side of the coin, our main villain is trying to get all the 10 fingers the 20 fingers just so they can start chaos and change the society of the world also themselves.
Oh, hold on. If we talking about that, we ain't gonna talk about your character, nigga.
Who my Oh.
You already know who your character is. I'm like, when did this shit turn to 13 Reasons Why? I'm like, you gonna tell me this is the reason why Tyler got that gun with pop, 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 pop.
Are we talking about Jupin?
Yes, but nigga Jupin. Alright, we ain't got all the time to talk about Jupin, but I did like how they set up his character for how they set him up to go to the dark side and to be like, yo, I want the power of curses so I could kill people, because why shouldn't I have the ability to kill people when all existence is futile and nothingness? Because at the end of the day, we're all nothing. Like,
Jupin is the perfect reason of the Harvey Dent. He just one little snap away.
You mean the Joker?
No, Harvey Dent. His infamous quote is.
No, Harvey Dent said you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself
become a villain. Jupin lived long enough to see himself as a villain.
That nigga 14 and a half.
He died at 14.
It's not that hard.
Bro, but the fact that
Jupin was going through
you couldn't find out like that nigga got a whole like a Leo like thing going on with his eye, but you couldn't find out not only was he being bullied, that once he lifted bangs up, there's like 8 burns from cigarettes. So this whole time he's in this school being bullied by these bullies who end up getting killed, he was being burnt by these motherfuckers.
They were ashing his cigarette. They were ashing his cigarettes on his head.
For real.
And not only that, it's just like that one little scene when we find out the first 3 kids that got killed. were technically supposedly homeboys or something like that, but yet they were dick ass homeboys.
And then when Yugi come in, like, yo, buddy, what's up, man? Let's hang out. Let's be cool.
Yo, be
like,
the nicest.
Let me go
homeboy.
to your crib. Your mama like me.
Meet
blah
your
blah
mama,
blah.
all this and that.
And they both geeks. They both like the same shit. So once again, Zach Morris Streets. You could be from different blocks, but still have the same street in common. So it's just like, yo, we just need somebody to talk to.
But it's also one of them sad
and
parts because it's also after the fact that Jupin has already met a curse who says, I'm human, and is out here teaching them like, yo, humanity is trash.
Yes.
I can teach you how to use curse magic to kill because humans are trash. And literally this demon literally handed him something. It was like, what's this? He's like, it's a human. He's like, oh. And he's like, oh, you're not scared of what I just did? He's like, no, because this human's not somebody that I have a personal connection to with. So if this was like my mom, yeah, but this is somebody I don't know, so I don't have no care.
And just like the classic trope of like, oh, I was going to ask you out before they made me, but I didn't know you. So now that you figured out this is all a little ploy to make you hot and me to take you to prom as a bet, I still care about you because Yugi went to interact with Jupiter knowing that he was already like entwined with the evilness just to come to find out they cool. But once Jupiter find that shit out, like...
So at this point in the recording, we lost the rest of the audio as it was clipping. But based off what you heard Kelsey and Ross say, I think you can get where they were going with the show. We will post in the description part of the podcast their recommendations and what they think you should check out, but for the most part, it is unusable. If you really want to hear it, you can message us and we'll send you what it sounded like. But as they say, be one or be nothing, and be kind, y'all.